So have you seen the photos in this case?
Yes, ma'am. I was there at the hospital when he was found to death and everything.
Right. So I'm looking at the photos, and there are extensive burns to his bottom, and then there's extensive burns to his chest. I don't understand your story because it doesn't seem to be consistent with the photos and the information that the court has reviewed. And I will tell you, even though Judge Angelini is the judge that took this plea, I read over all of the PSI reports and I reread all of the stipulations. Defense, any clarification needed from your point? Because what the court is reviewing and seeing is a 2-year-old who has no skin remaining on his bottom because of scalding hot water.
Yes, ma'am.
And it appears from the photo that I'm reviewing, his entire chest is covered and back with burns. You ready?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Court is calling 2019 CR 4747, State of Texas versus Zachary Prince. Could I have parties approach and announce for the record for the state?
Michael Lilly out for the state.
For the defense?
Scott McCrum, Mr. Prince.
All right, Mr. Prince, thanks for addressing appropriately for court,
Yes.
but why were you late?
Oh, it wasn't like we were outside talking.
All right, so late is when you're not in the courtroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Plus, he was driving in from
Odessa.
this morning.
All right. So you entered a plea bargain agreement on July 12th
Yes,
and
ma'am.
applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state opposes your application. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and there are no contact with Caden Pagus. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. State, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, just argument, Judge.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, please, Judge. Call Audrey Fuller.
All right. Audrey Fuller. And before I take your witness under oath, because it was not written on the docketing sheet, did your client enter a plea of no contest? All right. So that the record can be clear, the court did review the stipulations that were agreed to, and the court is finding there's sufficient evidence to find your client guilty. Of course, the court is deferring finding of guilt as he applied for deferred adjudication. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. I'm going to need you to speak up so that the court reporter can hear, and everyone else, you need to whisper. All right, state your name for the record.
Audrey Fuller.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Fuller, how are you related to Zachary Prince?
I'm his mother.
And you could face forward so that
Okay.
she can hear you better.
I'm his mother.
I heard, we spoke before court this morning, correct?
Yes.
And you referred to Zachary by another name?
Devontae, that's his middle name.
Okay, so if you talk about a Devontae here, you mean Zach,
Yes.
Zach Prince. How are you employed, Ms. Fuller?
I'm 100% disabled veteran. I don't work.
So you served in the military?
Yes.
And I think that's reflected in the pre-sentence report. During Zach's childhood and growing up, you were in the military?
Yes.
What branch?
Army.
And that was throughout the time that Zach lived with you as a child and before he moved out?
Yes, sir.
How was Zachary as a child?
He was a sweet, happy child. He was very loving. He is very loving.
And what about in his older years, like high school years and teenage years?
He didn't change. He's always been a sweet kid. Always loved and very protective.
Any behavioral issues with him?
No,
Was he respectful with you?
he's always been respectful with me.
Any issues in high school, getting into trouble or anything like that?
No.
You know what he's charged with and what he pled to in this case.
Yes, sir.
What are your feelings about that you would like the judge to know?
I don't know.
Well, I'd like to ask the questions,
Okay.
answer the questions first.
Well, with my whole heart, I believe that my son did not do this.
And by not doing it, you know the facts of where the baby was.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to let me finish before you speak because she's taking everything down. that he left the child in the bathtub and the child was burned with water, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you know he did that. So at the very minimum, he was neglectful for not
Yes.
keeping an eye on the child after he left it in the bathtub,
Yes.
right? How many children does Zachary have?
Yeah, 5.
And what are their ages? Do you know?
Yes. 11, 10, 7, 6, 4.
Does he spend much time with his children?
He works out of town, but whenever he's home, he always gets them. He had them this weekend at my house.
And through the years, has he spent a lot of time with his children in your presence?
Yes.
What kind of father is he with his children?
He's a very loving father. He loves his kids and they love him also.
Have you ever seen him lose his temper with the kids?
I've never seen him ever get upset with kids.
Have you ever seen him do anything to discipline them, reprimand them, that you thought maybe was over the line in how he did it?
No, he's never done anything.
Have you ever seen him physical with the kids?
No, not ever, not once.
Or neglectful with the kids? How about aside from the kids? Have you ever seen him violent or physical?
Never in my presence.
And I understand you did write some words that you'd like to address the court?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're finding this story captivating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime content. Your support means a lot. Thank you.
Dear Honor, my name is Audrey Fuller. I am Zachary Prince's mother. The charges against my son are very severe. I'm truly aware of this, as well as our entire family. We empathize deeply with the young victim injuries he received, but we believe fully that Zachary would never intentionally hurt any child ever. Although he had to plead, it was solely based off of his chance of proving his innocence, which have been extremely slim. I do believe that he is guilty of one thing, and that is neglect. He never should have left the child in the bathroom alone. Zachary has felt extreme remorse for his actions ever since the incident. I'm here to plead to the court to grant mercy on my child during the sentencing phase. He is a great, loving, and protective parent of his 5 children who all need him in their lives. They all love their father very much. It would be hard on them to lose him at this point in their young lives. I am not asking for him to walk away scot-free or for him not to receive prison time. Thank you, and I hope you strongly consider my plea.
Ms. Fuller, has Zachary always been financially responsible for the children that he has?
Yes.
Has he always kept a job?
Yes.
Is he currently working?
Yes.
That's what.
All right, State.
I have a couple questions for you. Have you seen any of the evidence in this case?
Physically, I haven't seen anything. I just know.
Okay. So is it fair to say you haven't reviewed any offense reports, or
No.
police reports?
No.
You haven't reviewed any of the medical history?
No.
You haven't reviewed any of the photographs?
Yes.
So despite not reviewing any of that, you still believe that your son is innocent?
Yes.
Okay. Do you realize that in the stipulations that a medical professional, a doctor, said that the pattern of the burn in this case has clear lines of demarcation and no splashing, which means that it was an intentional submersion or immersion?
Judge,
You
I'll
understand that?
object to the form of the question.
All right, just a moment. State, could you repeat your question,
Yes.
please?
So there's a medical report in there from a doctor who says that the clear lines of demarcation and the lack of evidence of splashing in this case shows that this appears to be a immersion, meaning putting somebody in water. Did you know that?
No.
Okay.
So you're saying that they're saying that he held him underwater?
That's what it clearly appears to be. Were you aware of that?
No.
Okay. Because according to your son's statement, he says that the child's in there and then the water's flowing over him, but there is no burns on this child's chest.
Judge, I would object. She's already said she doesn't have knowledge of that. She had not reviewed the reports or the evidence. It's just argumentative.
All right, that'll be overruled.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know. I don't know.
Does that change your mind about whether you know that he's innocent about this?
It doesn't change my mind.
Okay. So regardless of what you hear, you know that your son's innocent.
Yes, because his the way I know him, that Devontae, he's never hurt a child ever. I've never seen him hurt. We have 50 kids in our family, young kids, and he always takes care of these kids. You've never seen him. I've never ever seen him do anything out of line, touch them, hit them, yell at them, anything. And he's 30, and if we have him all ages, and he's never done this. So for him to do something like this, that's not a character. I can't believe that.
Okay, were you aware that he's a suspect in another injury to a child case in Kilgore?
I'm aware that that's my grandson.
Okay.
And when my grandson got to my house, he had those marks on him before he even, whoever dropped, it wasn't, mom didn't drop him off. Someone else dropped him off at my mother's house, and my mother noticed me, and my mother told me, and my mom told him that he had marks on him. And they were the same marks that the doctor saw. So
Okay.
he had those injuries previously.
What about the head injuries in that case?
I don't know what head injury you're talking about.
Okay. So maybe we're just talking about a different case then.
There's just one case.
Okay. So you know his full criminal history?
He's my son.
Okay. So are you aware that he has any other pending cases?
Not that I'm, maybe if you tell me what they are.
Well, I want to know what you have. What you know. Tell me what you know about the other pending cases.
I know that he had one where he was at a bar with his coworkers, and the coworker had a gun, and then the coworker was being disruptive with the person who was arrested because he's in a bar with a gun. And then when my son walked over there, him and another guy, and they asked what's going on. Then because the officer was in plain clothes, and then they saw that he had a gun. Then they backed off. They're like, oh, okay, he's a cop. And then they said they just want to know what was going on, and then they said that he had a gun.
Okay. So are you aware that he has a pending aggravated assault in Midland County?
No.
Okay. That's witness judgment.
That the case that you just described about being in the bar, is that the pending case?
Yes.
And you mentioned that the state asked you whether you thought Zach was innocent, but in your statement you wrote that he was neglectful at a minimum.
Yes. For leaving the child in it because the child turned the water on.
That's a big difference from being innocent, being neglectful.
Yes, he's guilty. Yes, he's guilty of that.
Thank you. Pass the
I have no further questions.
That's all.
All right.
I'd like to call Marcus Fuller.
All right, Marcus Fuller. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Marcus Fuller.
All right, defense, yes.
Mr. Fuller, how are you related to Zachary Prince?
I'm a stepfather.
How old was Zachary when you came into his life and the family's life?
Approximately 9 years old.
And so you raised him from the age of 9?
Yes, sir.
How are you employed, Mr. Fuller?
I am 90% disabled, retired from the military.
How long did you serve in the military?
21 years.
In what branch?
Army.
And were you serving in the Army along with his mother, Miss Fuller, when you came into their lives when he was about 9 years old?
Yes.
And through his high school years?
Yes.
And how was Zachary Prince, how did he accept you as a stepfather coming into the home?
I was in a pretty smooth transition. We had a conversation about it. I thanked him who I would be and what my role would be in his life. And he accepted it, and he had a couple questions, but nothing abnormal in my life.
Being a military man, you, I imagine, are used to structure,
Yes.
discipline, responsibility.
Yes.
Those are the things that you instilled in the children of the home, including Zachary and the other kids.
Yes.
Did you ever have a problem, significant problem from Zachary in that regard?
No.
Was he ever disrespectful to you, combative, fight you off, any of those things?
No. He's very hands-on. He participates in our lives when he's not at work. And I think he's doing a great job as a father. So.
Do you ever see him being over-aggressive or physical with them?
No.
Did he lose his temper to where it concerned you?
No.
And as he has also always worked, is my understanding, as an adult.
Yes.
As so far as you know, he financially takes care of his kids.
Yes.
Currently employed.
Yes.
Just
Just a couple questions for you. How would you describe Zachary's childhood?
Normal?
Would you describe it as dysfunctional?
Not at all.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that he described his childhood as dysfunctional?
From his perspective, maybe. Okay.
But would it surprise you is my question to you.
Oh, a little bit.
I have no further questions.
Did you all move a lot by virtue of your enlistment and your service to the country, did y'all move around a lot while Zachary was young?
Naturally, yes.
And do you think that was maybe hard on the kids at times?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have no further questions.
All right, you may take a seat. Defense, call your next witness.
Miles Fuller?
Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You're going to need to speak up.
Yes.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Miles Fuller.
All right,
May I
defense?
proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller, how are you related to Zachary?
I'm his younger brother.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
And how old is Zach?
30.
So he's a significant, well, like 11 years older than you. And how is your relationship with Zach?
It's very, as a big brother.
Has he always supported you?
Yes,
And what are you doing at this time?
I'm at school.
Where do you go to school?
Texas State University.
So you're in college? Is this your first, second year with
About to be a sophomore.
about to be a sophomore? And you graduated from what high school?
Harvard High School.
Is your relationship with Zach such that whenever you have issues come up, you call him and talk to him?
Yes.
And how has his guidance been with you in your life and what you should do with your life?
It gives me very good advice for relationship, personal problems I have.
You always call him and talk to him? And would you say he's a significant role in you still being in school? That's a witness.
I have no questions.
All right, thank you. Call your next witness.
Chelsea Nixon.
All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Chelsea Nixon?
All right, defense?
Ms. Nixon, how are you related to Zach Prince, if at all?
Girlfriend of almost 2 years?
And do y'all live together?
Yes.
How long have y'all lived together?
About a year and a half.
Do you have any children with Mr. Prince?
No children with him.
Expecting?
Not that I'm aware of.
And do you have any children of your own?
Yes.
How old are they?
10 and 8.
And you're aware with what this case that Zachary has against him, correct?
Correct.
That involved a young child. Did you ever witness anything knowing that with Zachary being around your children that concerned you?
No, never.
How is he with your children?
He's very, very involved with them. He does their homework with them. If there's ever anything that I can't do with them, he does. If he's ever not working, he's home with them when I'm working. He's very involved, like actively with them. They both play sports, so he's very, very much involved with them.
So they're very close. Have you ever seen him discipline them in a way that made you uncomfortable?
No.
Have you ever seen him lose his temper with them?
No.
Have you ever been worried about leaving them in his care?
No.
That's a witness.
Just a couple questions. Ms. Nixon, your kids reside with you
Yes.
full time?
Yes.
Okay. And does Zachary live with you full time?
Yes.
Okay. So he's around these kids pretty often?
Correct.
Are you aware of the allegations in this case?
I am now.
Okay. Does that give you any concern for having your kids around him?
No. I mean, from my personal experience with him and the way that my children care for him and how he's been a very good role model for them and been there for them, I don't question him around my kids.
And just to be specific, I'm asking about knowing the allegations in this case. You don't have any issue with your children being around Zachary Prince?
I do not.
That's witness.
That's fine.
How old are your children?
10 and 8.
All right, thank you. Thank you for coming in.
If you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more shocking true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Don't miss out on what's next.
Defense, call your next witness.
No other witnesses, Your Honor. No other witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Prince, is there anything you wish to say? You can raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand.
I just wanted to make a statement if that was okay.
Sure.
I just wanted to let the court know that I have like the utmost remorse about what happened. I mean, at the end of the day, I take full responsibility because I should have been an unselfish adult about it and been watching Kaden the whole time. And I understand the allegations against me, and whatever the court decides, I'm 100% with it. But I mean, if the probation is on the table, which I heard is slim, but if it is on the table, there won't be any problems out of me. And I think that'll be the best option for me, my children and my family, because I'm like a real staple and pillar within my family. That's all I got.
All right. So have you seen the photos in this case?
Yes, ma'am. I was there at the hospital when he was vanished death and everything.
All right. So I'm looking at the photos, and there are extensive burns to his bottom.
Mhm.
And then there's extensive burns to his chest. I don't understand your story because it doesn't seem to be consistent with the photos and the information that the court has reviewed. And I will tell you, even though Judge Angelini is the judge that took this plea, I read over all of the PSI reports and I reread all of the stipulations.
It happened how I said it happened.
All right. Any questions from the state?
And I think the court inquired about what I was interested in knowing.
All right. Defense, any clarification needed from your point? Because what the court is reviewing and seeing is a 2-year-old who has no skin remaining on his bottom because of scalding hot water.
Yes, ma'am.
And it appears from the photo that I'm reviewing, his entire chest is covered and back with burns and removed because of scalding water. Yes.
That they took that off at the hospital. They took more than they were supposed to.
Got more of his skin off?
Yes, ma'am. When me and his mother went to the hospital, they told us, okay, this is only what we're taking off. And then they chose to take more of his skin off. I don't know why. When we got to the hospital, we both broke down about this whole situation. Seeing him cast up like we did, we didn't know what was going on. We thought it wasn't as severe as it was, but it was.
Well, explain to the court why you didn't call EMS immediately, because I read the PSI report and it states that you put lotion on his body as opposed to calling.
Aloe vera. I put aloe vera on it, not thinking it was severe, and I called.
Well, no, I'm reading in the PSI report, and you state in the PSI report that his skin was falling off. So how is that not serious?
And that's why when his mother came, I said, let's go to the hospital right now. And I just, at that time, if I could go back and change it, I would have called EMS first, but I wanted to keep his mother in the know. I didn't want her to, she was real sensitive, and I didn't want her breaking down or doing something out of the ordinary. So I called her and convinced her to take him to the hospital. And he didn't want to take him to the hospital, but I said, the best thing to go to the hospital.
Well, then I have an issue with her parenting skills as well. So it appears that the baby is not placed with her. Am I correct?
I don't know where the
The
baby
child is with her, Judge. I don't know if that.
Well, thank you. If the defendant's testimony is correct, then Child Protective Services review your cases. All right, the court will hear argument. State.
Judge, I think it's pretty clear just from the photographs in this case, his inability to relay a true version of what happened on this case. You can see from the burns that this is not a child splashing around in the water with burns all over the body. There's clear, deep lines of demarcation, which indicates from the professional standpoint, I believe, which is contained in the stipulations, that this child was held and immersed into hot water. A 2-year-old. I don't know what in the world could justify a 2-year-old having, half of his body burned with skin coming off. We have the witnesses for the defense that came in here are clearly, understandably biased. I understand mom wants to come in here and tell this court that he is just neglectful. No, and he pled to an intentional and knowing act, because that is what he did. This child has permanent scars on his body with no justification. I think the offer was generous in this case for 10 years. And so we're asking that you deny his application and that you sentence him to the full 10 years because he deserves every single day of that 10 years.
All right, defense.
Judge, I'm not an expert or physician, and that's I can't argue how it happened. I can tell you what my opinion is. I can see that it could have entirely happened the way Mr. Prince says it happened. The child turned the faucet to hot when he was left in there alone, which was the neglectful act, and the water splashes on his chest, it turns, it hits his back, and he falls, goes down, and is on the butt. I can see how those isolated, and I don't know why you're making those faces to me, Judge. You can
I'm not making, first of all, stop. One, I'm not making any faces. Number two, I'm looking at you and listening to your argument, counsel.
I noted facial expressions, Judge.
Well, your notation is incorrect. You may continue with your argument.
It was an immersion, in my opinion. But again, I'm not a physician or an expert. But I just can't see on these facts how anyone who's not a physician or an expert can just say with 100% certainty it couldn't have happened that way. I can't accept that. If it were immersion, I would expect that it would be all the way burned around, not just in patches. How could it immerse it just in portions, in just the chest, in just the butt? That doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not a physician or a doctor. I'm just saying I can't see how any of us who aren't physicians or experts could know for certain.
State.
Well, I'm not finished, Judge. Mr. Prince is from a good family, as you've noted. Had a good upbringing, did everything that we would expect from someone going to school, graduating, working hard, good role model for his brother, taking care of his kids. He's taken responsibility for this act, for what he did do. And I guess we could sit here all day and argue what that was. But he's got no felony priors. Sending him to prison for this when it's questionable to me is severe. I know that the injuries to the child is severe, and it's a tough type of case. But sending him to prison, I don't think resolves anything. He needs to be out here taking care of his kids financially and otherwise. And so I hope you will consider the deferred with conditions, with ISF, with other things that could address maybe a punishment aspect. That's all I have.
State.
Just briefly, Judge, I know Mr. McCrum's not an expert. I'm not an expert. The court is not an expert, but there is an expert opinion contained within the stipulations, and that's what the state is relying on, because this 2-year-old can't tell anybody what happened to them. We have to rely on the experts in this case, which is clear, which is contained in the stipulations that this was an immersion case, and so again, we're asking that you deny his application and send him to the full 10 years.
All right, anything else, counsel? All right. After reviewing the stipulation and reviewing all of the evidence, and Mr. Prince, the court has listened to the witness's testimony, and I always appreciate when witnesses come in because they give me a more global view of a person that's standing before me than just what's in the PSI report. All right, the court is going to deny your application, find you guilty. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Caden Pegas. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. Give you credit for any time served, and the court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison. Showing you what rights to appeal. Have you reviewed that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. This is a case where there's victim impact on Zoom. I believe that they're in.
This wasn't just about a tragic mistake. It was about confronting uncomfortable truths head on, even when the person responsible had people willing to swear by his goodness. Judge Boyd made it clear. In her courtroom, actions, not appearances, determine the outcome. But what do you think? Can someone's past goodness ever outweigh the harm they cause? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us in uncovering the chilling details of this case. If this story has left you disturbed or reflective, please share your thoughts and reflections. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to explore the stories that reveal the darkest sides of human behavior. Together, we keep these lessons alive, ensuring the voices of victims are never forgotten. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or follow.